What's up guys, Jay Cutting from Fitness Culture. So we've gotten a lot of requests on how to improve your front rack. So people are having trouble getting the front rack on their front squats. So we're gonna go over 3 of my favorite things to do to improve your front rack. I've had a ton of problem with my front rack over the years when I was doing CrossFit. So I use these and they help me a lot to get my front rack better. First of all, obviously front rack, there's a lot of things that are gonna go into it. A few of those things are gonna be your wrist mobility, even how tight your triceps are, all the way into your lats, right? So first thing you're gonna wanna do before you do these things is make sure you have mobility in those areas. So we have some other videos if you wanna check out how to improve your wrist mobility and your overhead mobility, your shoulder mobility, things like that. I would work on those first, but these are just good ones that are just for your front rack, completely front rack based, and so we'll get into it. All right, so one of the biggest things when you're getting to your front rack, the biggest thing you wanna think about, a lot of people will start breaking down and they have a hard time in their front rack. Like if they even if they do have a good front rack, just because of the position that they're getting in with their thoracic spine. So when Brody gets into a front rack position right here, a lot of people will be rounded forward here to be able to get into that front rack so their shoulder comes forward and it rounds their upper back, right? You want to squeeze your upper back into a good position, and that's gonna be basically the first chain link that's gonna break down. So if that's broken down, then everything else is gonna break down. It's gonna put a ton of pressure on your core and you're gonna be fighting it the entire time. So you really wanna get enough mobility in your front rack. You can get your elbows nice and high, but also erect your thoracic spine at the same time. So I just wanted to cover that because your front rack may not be the issue. It may just be the activation of your upper back when you're setting up. So make sure you look at that first. Make sure that you're squeezing your upper back into a good position. So get your front rack here, squeeze your shoulder blades in a good position, and make sure your thoracic spine's in a good place before you get into it. The first drill is just gonna be a simple band drill. So we're gonna set the band up, lower on the rack. Depending on how mobile you are, you might wanna bring it up a little bit. Brody's pretty mobile here. So you're gonna set up with your hand in the band, open hand, just like this, turn it over, and then from there, he's basically over his shoulder with his elbow, and you're just gonna work on stretching it out. So this one's gonna be good just because it's gonna open up your lat, it's gonna stretch your tricep and your wrist, because you'll notice if you come back here that his hand is open, and that'll help just open it up, stretch his fingers a little bit and his wrist. And if he wants to, he can grab overhead, grab his elbow, and increase the stretch a little bit. So once he spends about a minute here, then we're gonna actually put him in the front rack. So keeping that hand open, so that band's gonna be pulling his hand into a good position, stretching his fingers out here. He's gonna sit in the front rack position for another minute and grab his elbow right here, and just pull it in a little bit, just to give some rotation there. So he's just gonna work, keep it nice and tight. He's gonna drive his elbow up. Spend a minute overhead, about a minute in that actual front rack position. If this is way too hard, you'll just wanna start with the band a little bit higher, or you could even kind of put the band at a higher position on the rack and just start with just stretching it out with your arm over your head like that. All right guys, the next one we're gonna be doing is just a stretch with a PVC pipe on the bench. So what you're gonna do, grab right about shoulder width. You can even go a little bit wider. It's gonna put a little bit more tension on. And what you're gonna do is set up with your elbows on the bench. You're gonna keep your arms straight at first. Go ahead and sink down with your head past the bench. And from there, you're gonna get a nice stretch right here in your lats and also in your thoracic spine. And you can increase the stretch by keeping those elbows nice and tight and then bringing that PVC pipe just here as far as you can go. Brody's gonna be able to take it all the way down to his back because he's got great mobility. But in this position, I would not be able to do that. And then if you wanted a little bit more stretch even, you could have someone press down on your back just a little bit, or even just put like a small plate on your back to get you deep into the stretch. So this one's great, because like we were talking about before, you're gonna need a lot of thoracic mobility to be able to have a great front rack too, or a great front rack position and a nice strong upper back. So this one will help with your thoracic mobility a little bit, and it's gonna work that front rack position. So the last one's gonna be kind of a weird drill, but you're gonna be setting up a band. So we loop 2 bands together, and then you just throw them over the rack like this. And you're gonna be using the band to help you get your elbows up in position. You can just stand here and really get it to stretch you. So it's kind of like your partner. If you don't have a partner, to sit there and just press on your arms. Here, I'll show you what traditionally we would do. So go ahead, Brody, set up in the front rack. Brody has a really good front rack, but go ahead and rack it up. And then a lot of the times what we would do is just have a partner. Brody's already in a good position, but push into a better position and just hold it, right? And then you could press against me and do some P&F stuff, and then relax, push a little further, just to work on that front rack, right? So if you don't have a partner, which a lot of the times we know people don't, you can do a similar thing with bands. So you're gonna set up in the bands. Well, you set 2 bands up, you loop it over the rack. So you're gonna step in under the bar, get your elbows in there, then you'll just set up on the bar like you normally would, get in a good position, and let those bands pull your elbows up a little bit. So If this is stretching you a lot, for me, if I just stood off, just the bands pulling me up at all, would stretch me out quite a bit. But once you get into it, you can also kind of really work on keeping your thoracic spine nice and high. Squeeze your shoulder blades together if you can. And then from there, you're gonna sink down and do a couple squats. You can, and if there's way too much tension, obviously it's gonna be hard, but you could even just go and do a quarter squat just to challenge yourself. Quarter squat, pause, drive those elbows up in a good position, just like that. So really hold down there, hold the stretch. There you go. Just hold and do a good stretch right here. Get a good stretch and then come back up. All right, guys, I hope these 3 drills help you out with your front rack. There's a lot that goes into your front rack, like I was saying, your wrist mobility, basically just your overall mobility in your upper body is gonna really contribute to your front rack position. But these 3 drills have helped me out a lot to improve my front rack, even though it's still pretty bad. But it's a lot better than it used to be from using these drills. So I hope you guys liked it. I hope you can use it in your training. And if you guys have any other topics that you want me to cover, just go ahead and leave them in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for tuning in.